Yes, people, Ricky here from Behind the Bars TV. This is episode number 2 of People Serving Life Without Parole. So, all in all, there's been about 100 people sentenced to life without parole, which is also known as a whole life sentence, which means you will never be released. And currently, there's about 70 prisoners serving this sentence. Like I say, it was introduced in 1983, and there was initially 100 people serving the sentence, but obviously some have passed away since. And this sentence was served for the most heinous of crimes, people that have committed more than one murder, people that have been to prison for murder, been released and committed further murders. In this episode, I'm going to talk about Malcolm Green. He was from Cardiff in Wales. He's now deceased. I believe he died last year in custody. And Malcolm was responsible for 2 murders. But I met Malcolm Green back in 2006 whilst I was serving time in HMP Frankland. And Malcolm was on the same wing as me. And he wasn't well liked from the other prisoners. I didn't speak to him myself, but I did see him on the wing. Everybody knew that Malcolm, or he was called Mac in Frankland, he was serving a whole life sentence. He killed a prostitute in 1971. Then in 1990, after he'd already served a sentence, he went on to kill a New Zealand tourist. Malcolm Green, when I met him in Frankland, he was just short in stature. He worked in the kitchens. He didn't look, he looked a bit like Ed Gein. That's what type of person he looked like, and he come across like that. He wasn't very well liked. He walked with a limp, and he did look like a bit of a creature. But because of what he was in for, there wasn't many people spoke to him. I think there might have been 1 or 2 people that was quite friendly with him. But most of the time, he was by himself. So Malcolm's first victim was Glenys Johnson, who was 40-year-old, who was known to be a local prostitute. So it was in June 1971 when Malcolm had been out drinking to the local bars and clubs, and he was on his way home when he came across Glenys. He took her to some waste ground off Wharf Street in Cardiff near the docks and brutally murdered her, beating her and cutting her throat and leaving her face down. He had slashed her and cut her to pieces with a broken bit of bottle and slashed her throat so badly he nearly decapitated her. He then called the police and said, "Have you found the body yet? There will be 4 more. This is the Ripper." The calls were traced back to the British Steel Corporations where Green worked. Malcolm was arrested and immediately confessed to the killing. In his confession, he told detectives, "I don't know how I done it. 1 minute I was walking home, then the next I was covered in blood." Malcolm was married at the time, and his wife had told the detectives that Malcolm had actually said to her, "I wonder what it's like to kill somebody." This was just months previously. When the detectives went to Malcolm's flat, they found a rolled up carpet, dressed up like a person with a t-shirt on and a knife sticking out of the carpet with red blood stuff on, so it looked as if he'd stabbed somebody. So it looks as though Malcolm had fantasies about killing somebody well before he committed these murders. On the 5th of November 1971, Malcolm was jailed at Cardiff Crown Court and sentenced to a minimum of 25 years. In October 1989, Malcolm was released from Leyhill Open Prison. He'd only served 18 years out of the 25-year minimum after a psychiatrist said that he was fit for release. On release, he moved to Bristol and made friends with a New Zealand tourist called Clive Tully. On the 11th of March 1990, Tully, originally from New Zealand, was touring the world and stopping off at different destinations. Clive had recently been on holiday to Spain and Portugal and found himself at Green's house with no money. A week later, on the 19th of March 1990, Malcolm attacked his friend Clive with a hammer and dismembered his body. Malcolm cut up the body in quite precise bits, then leaving bits of his body scattered around Wales. The killing became known as the body in the bags killings. Malcolm had worked in a slaughterhouse in his younger days and knew how to dismember bodies. On the 22nd of March 1990, two holdalls were spotted on the side of the road. On the 22nd of March 1990, two holdalls were spotted on the side of the road near Rogerstone, Newport, by a school teacher. The police were called and the holdalls were searched, and inside they found dismembered body parts. There was upper arms, legs and a torso of a person. All the body parts were individually wrapped in plastic and taped over with sellotape. On the 22nd of March 1990, 4 days later, a young farmer some 50 miles away at St. Bride's, Wentlog, found what looked like a football-shaped object wrapped in a red plastic bag. When he put his hand inside it, he felt something that appeared to be a nose. Close by was a white plastic bag containing 2 neatly amputated hands. The remains were only identified after a newspaper graphic artist produced a computer-enhanced photograph of the victim. Police then discovered the actual murder scene when they went to Clive's house and found bloodstains all over his flat. Malcolm's fingerprints were found in the blood. He left a trail of forensic evidence, even leaving his fingerprints on some of the bags that had the body parts in. 30th of March 1990, Malcolm was arrested. He confirmed he knew Clive but denied any involvement in the murder. In November 1991, at Bristol Crown Court, Malcolm was found guilty of the murder and sentenced to life imprisonment. The Home Secretary at the time changed Malcolm's sentence to a whole life sentence, never to be released. But Malcolm Green deserved to die in prison for the murders he committed. But I'll leave that one there for now, people. But keep watching because I'll be doing more videos soon on people serving whole life sentences. But if you're liking the content, remember to like and subscribe. Take care.